Yo, everybody. It's dysfunctional.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Today we have an interesting topic and we're going to dive right on into it. Thank y'all for tuning into Dysfunctional Conversations with your host, T-Man. That's Talking Shit with T-Man. And let's go and dive right on into it. Y'all know what to do. Hit the likes, hit the share, pass it on, subscribe to my channel. We know all of that. So let's dive on into it. Yo, hurt people hurt other people. That's my topic today. Hurt people hurt other people, even if it's their own kids. I'm going through a situation, y'all. I want y'all to know who y'all talking to. Y'all talking to me, T-Man. I'm going through a situation right now with my son's mother. And it's not a pretty situation. We both grew up in the same neighborhood. We both from Chi-Town. We from the village. For those of you who know where the village is, it's in the hood. It's in the hood. And we both probably had some similar upbringing. But sometimes we can find ourselves stuck in our childhood, stuck where we grew up at. And I was fortunate enough I had a lot of freedom when I was a child. You know, even though my mom did what she did, I didn't have a dad around. So the community was my dad. People I saw, everything I saw in the community was my dad. It was this one young man by the name, we call him Snake. His real name, Jermaine. He younger than me. And I used to see him in the community with his girlfriend, his child. He was a young father. And I was a young father as well. But every time you saw this young man, he had his girlfriend and his kids with him. He had his girlfriend and his kids with him. I don't know if he know how much he affected my life just by me seeing what I saw when I saw him and his girlfriend and kids. But that always stuck to me. It made me know that I want to have a good relationship with my kids, even though I didn't have a father. But whatever DNA is in me, I forgave my father. I forgave my father. Even though he wasn't in my life, I didn't get to know my father until I was 27. But like I say, the hood was my father. That was my father. So everything I saw, whether it was negative or positive, I took something from it. I had another friend, his name was 40 Ounce. He drank a lot. And when I see him drunk, acting a certain kind of way, and I love him, but I learned from that. I didn't want to look like that. So I never really drunk that much. My mom was my hero. Like real talk. My mom, she was my hero. My mom was on drugs when I was growing up young. She's been clean now for 37 years. We're going to give my mom a hand. We're going to give my mom a hand. She's been clean from everything for 37 years. But my mom was my hero. And I learned from my mom as well. Because that taught me not to never, ever smoke crack. I looked at the crack as the villain, even though I sold crack, a lot of it. But I looked at the crack as the villain. And if it was able to take my hero down, which was my mother, I knew what it can do to me. So I learned from that. So that's why I never got involved in heavy drugs. I had two friends growing up in Chicago, one named Steve-O. He's passed away, but he's a college graduate. He was a dope dealer too, though. And I had another friend by the name of Marcus. And both of them was very intelligent. I didn't come from a family of successful college graduates, if you will. But watching my two friends that was very intelligent, very smart, I felt like I can do that. I felt like I can be smart too. And that's what pushed me to college. Even though I got kicked out of high school, I was a badass, smoking weed in the basement of the high school. And the principal ultimately got the last laugh. But I still pushed myself and went and got my GED and went off to college, studied psychology. So my mom moved to Michigan. I got in trouble. I shot somebody with a BB gun. And they put me on probation. And this when I was in 5th grade now. And they assigned me to like this big brother, big sister type of program. So I had a big brother. And remember now, I'm not a young buck. I may look good, but I'm not a young buck. And my big brother, his name was Tom. And I would go over there on the weekends. I was living in Port Huron, Michigan, a little town about 45 minutes from Detroit. And I would eat dinner at Tom's house. I would ride Tom's spree. My first time riding a motorbike. But I say that to say this. I learned from Tom. I learned the idea of a family. And I think that's what always made me want to have a family. So I didn't get stuck in a village. I had big dreams. I believed in myself. I never was the type of person that thought that the white man is holding me down. I never was that person. I've always thought that I can do anything I want. Just from watching everything in my hood. And I learned from everybody in my community. They were my father. They were my teacher. I learned at an early age, watching other people go through things. I don't have to go through those things. So their experience was my teacher. I didn't have to go through it myself to be taught. I learned from them. They get drunk, act a fool. I didn't like what they looked like, so I never got drunk. My mother was defeated by crack, and that was my hero. I knew not to let the crack defeat me. And I always had a forgiving heart. That's how I was able to forgive my father. And I never held a grudge against my father for not being effective in my life. So I didn't hold a grudge against him. And whatever was in me, whether I got it from my mom, wherever I got it from, it allowed me to forgive. So I didn't carry grudges. So I didn't stress that much because I wasn't carrying a burden of childhood traumas. But I found myself in a situation today where my son's mother, she's been trying to, and I know from what she told me that she have some childhood traumas, but she's not forgiving. She's not forgiving like me. So she carried these childhood traumas, whether it was from her first kid's father, whether it was from some of her family members, whatever she went through, she didn't forgive and she got stuck right there. So when we were together and I hurt her by whatever I did, if I wasn't faithful, if I was cheating, whatever I did, I hurt her some kind of way. If she thought and had hopes or dreams that one day it'd be her and I married, and that didn't happen. But I did have my son, and my son is innocent. And hurt people hurt other people, even when they're hurting their kids. I'm sure everyone that's watching this know the importance of a father being in a son's life, even a daughter's life, because he can teach them. But especially a black father that's a pretty good fucking black father being in a black child's life. It's difficult for those that watch this and don't really understand. The cards are stacked up against us. People do have a negative perception about us. You're going to have to work twice as hard to get to the same place as some of your counterparts. And that's the value that a father can bring to that black child. And even if the mother knows that this person is important for my child, but I hate him so much that I'm going to do whatever I can do to turn my child against him. Well, it didn't work. My child loves me because I don't think like that. I don't think to turn my son against his mom or make him think that his mom is less than. I try to teach my son to understand why the mom does what she does so he can have a better understanding of that. But I want to say this, and this is so important to people with kids. Stop hurting your child because of what you feel about the father. Stop doing that. Stop doing that to us. We don't deserve that. You're not hurting me. You're not hurting me at all. You're not hurting me. You're hurting our child. And he's innocent. He have a chance. And you're breaking that. He's crying, begging to come be with his dad, to live with his father in a beautiful, prestigious neighborhood. But you rather keep him on the south side of Chicago where he can't even walk outside and enjoy himself. No matter how much he cries and tell you, you rather verbally abuse him instead of listening to him. You rather tell him he don't have a choice instead of allowing him to know that his voice matters. Do you know the damage you have done to our child? And other parents, other mothers, if you see this, pay close attention because the damage is sometimes irreversible. When that child grows up and you're wondering why they have so much resentment towards you, why they move to another state away from you instead of following you, it's because of the hurt that you have caused. Now, I don't know if you understand the hurt that you're doing, or is your hate to the other parent that deep that it blinds you from seeing the hurt that you're causing the child. Tell me, if somebody know, please comment. If somebody can help me, please comment. If somebody can help her, please comment. Please. Because the damage that you're doing to our child, it's not worth the pain that you're trying to cause me, but you're not causing me any pain. I don't try to pay people back with vengeance. I let people live their life. Life gonna teach them. You know, God say vengeance is mine. So life gonna teach them. And the moment I decided to let it go, stop fighting, because the court system is all about the circuit. It's the circuit courts. That's circus. When you're going through custody battles, it's about which parent can smear the other parent character the most. And if I can make you look this bad, what? Now I can get my child. You and I know, we are adults. You and I know, or whoever watching this, if you all are going through something similar, you and that parent know what's best for the child, because y'all know the child. The child know you all. So you guys should be able to make an adult decision on what's best for the child, not fight it out in court with someone, a complete stranger that don't know nothing about y'all's situation. It's important to co-parent harmoniously together, because the child is watching. And you're making that child think that this is okay. This is how it goes. This is how relationships are. There's no handbook to a relationship or raising a child. But deep in here, deep inside of here, you know what's right from wrong. I know what's right from wrong. You have the nerve to tell me that in 12 days, I brainwashed my child to not like mom? You had him in your presence for 12 months and you wasn't able to brainwash him and make him hate daddy when you have all the characteristics, not forgiving, hatred towards me, and now you send me text messages telling me that I'm doing that. You did that, and it backfired. And the moment I decided not to fight no more because I didn't want to slander your character, God placed it right in my hand. It was placed right in my hand. My son now have a voice. My son now isn't afraid to speak. You tell him he don't have a choice. Now he know he have a choice. Let's stop this. Let's stop this. For all of you that's going through something like this, focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Don't focus on the fight. Yeah, you love your child, but don't focus on the fight. Let go and let God. The universe will work it all out. The universe will work it out. But you have to stop trying to be the engineer of this. You have to stop trying to engineer this here situation, because it's not yours to engineer. And the moment I did that, it happened. No, I didn't plan it. It happened. It happened. So let's stop hurting our kids because of what we feel about our ex or our spouse. Let's stop hurting the kids. They're innocent. Don't you love your child? Don't you want your child to have a chance? Let's stop interfering with their personal growth. All too often we think just because we're the parent that we know better. A lot of things we do know better. But for the most part, our kids teach us. And if you sit back and stop doing this, you will learn from your child. They tell you what they want. A baby can't talk, but what that baby can do, it can cry. It can make a sound. It'll let you know what's wrong. Whether it's the pamper, they hungry, their tummy need to be rubbed, it'll let you know. So let's listen to our kids and let's learn from our kids as well. Let's stop stagnating our kids' growth because of our past traumas, our hurt that we experience. Learn to forgive. First, yourself. You can't forgive me until you forgive yourself for the part you played. That's with anything in life. First, forgive self. You have to forgive yourself first. And once you forgive yourself, admit the part you played in the situation, then you can begin to forgive me, truly forgiving me, and stop carrying around a heavy burden. Burdens are heavy. Those loads are heavy. So I don't want to be too long, but y'all know a little bit about me now, those who don't know about me. And life is like a box of chocolates. You don't know which one you're going to get sometime. You don't know which one you're going to get. Let's do better by our kids. Let's do better for ourselves. Every day is a growing process. The moment we think we know it all, don't want to listen, the moment you can consider yourself dead. Because anything that ain't growing is dead. A lot of us just walking dead. Can't tell nobody nothing. Hurt people hurt other people. But the only how you can begin to fix your hurt is recognizing that you're hurt and forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself, whether you're forgiving yourself for carrying that hurt around for so long, whatever it may be, forgiving yourself first. Then you can begin to forgive the person or whatever situation that hurt you. Because we find ourselves with the kids in the middle, hurting our kids, somebody that we love. Hurting our kids, and then they grow up wondering where this hurt come from, where this pain come from. Now you just like a hamster in a wheel, just to rotating that cycle so he can pass it on or she can pass it on to their kids or then their kids. Like I say, this shit is dysfunctional. I'm having dysfunctional conversations. And I thank y'all for tuning into dysfunctional conversations. Please, if you felt this, hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to my channel, because we're going to have some dysfunctional conversations over here. Until next time, peace.